What is up? Welcome to Every Single Guitars, where the goal of this channel is to review every single guitar ever made. Right behind me you see two guitars. One of my main guitars in my main collection, a 1981 all walnut Fender Strat Stratocaster, and on my left a 1981 Fender Telecaster Collector's Edition with the matching headstock. This is the guitar I will review today, and I will tell you why I brought this out in a little bit. So this is a 1981 Fender Telecaster with a gold bridge, all gold hardware. It's gold plated, but I believe the metal underneath is brass, and it has the matching headstock and the serial number. It starts with a CE, which I searched it up and it stands for Collector's Edition. So I did some research before purchasing this guitar, and from what I found, this is pretty rare actually. There's about 400 to 600 produced, around that range, you know, give or take, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but less than 1,000 units produced of this specific guitar. To be honest, I had no idea that this guitar even existed. I had no idea that there was a serial number that started with a CE. I've never seen that, but I did see this guitar on my local ad. He posted it at like 1 a.m. and I happened to be awake at that time. I called him because he left his number, and he actually picked up, and I told him that I'll pick it up today or tonight, or what would you call 1 a.m. So basically I picked it up at like 1:45-ish. It took me like 45 minutes to drive to his place. Dude, when I got there, I expected this man to be living in like a nice place, like a nice area, like a nice home, because dude, this is a pretty expensive guitar. This is a pretty rare piece of Fender guitar history, you know? But when I went to his place, dude, he was living in an RV, like an RV trailer type thing. And I asked him, like, is this your like vacation home, or like, you know, like your temporary house? And he's like, no, this is like my home. I was like, what the hell, dude? So, you know, that taught me a lesson, man. Don't judge a book by its cover. You know, I didn't pay straight cash for this. I did some negotiation, and we came up to a deal where I gave him one of my Gibsons, and then I added some cash on top. I thought it was a very good deal because you don't see this kind of Fender every day, this Telecaster every day. So the reason why I brought out this guitar, the Strat, is because the concept is exactly the same. I mean, the gold hardware, gold knobs, the gold selector switch tip, you know, the bridge is both the same style bridge. It's a little bit different, but I believe this is the only Fender Strat with this type of bridge, and this is the only Telecaster with this type of bridge. So something that really made me wonder was these guitars look pretty similar in concept, but this is specifically called the Strat. That is the name it was marketed after, Fender Stratocaster D Strat. But this is just called a regular Telecaster. I don't know why they didn't say D Tele, because matching headstock, gold bridge, gold hardware. I don't know why they didn't name it D Tele. So the two common things about this guitar, since I'm holding it, you know, both in my hands, is they're both pretty heavy. You know, I like heavy guitars. This is the type of weight I'd like. On the heavier side, this is easily 9-10 pounds. This is easily 9-10 pounds. It's on the heavier side. I think actually this is the heaviest Telecaster I've ever owned or I've ever played. You know, since I play a lot sitting down, when the weight is on your lap, dude, I love that. I love it when a heavy guitar is on your lap. It just feels so good. It feels so firm, like of quality. I don't know why. Some people like really like guitars and they won't buy guitars if they're past a certain weight. Some people, they won't buy guitars that are past 6 pounds or 7 pounds. The extra 2 pounds, does it really make a difference? I feel like it does make a difference. If you gig and if you're standing up and you're playing like a 10-pound guitar, the weight may you know, cause some problems long term. If you're like standing up for like 3 hours, then I kind of understand. If you're like a home player, you gig, you know, a couple times, like just casually, bro, the weight should not be a big deal in my opinion. Yes, everyone's different for that. So for this guitar, I completely disassembled this guitar. I actually never disassembled guitars that I buy. I just like clean it up, restring it, and then I sell it again. But you know, recently I've been very interested in like how a guitar is built, you know, like what they do to make this guitar. So I took off all the nails, I took off the pickguard, I took off the bridge, I took off the knob, knobs. I took off the neck. I didn't take off the tuners though. The tuners, I just left it in place. When I took off all the, the pickguard and the hardware, underneath, it was very clean. There was just a little bit of dust, because it's 81. This is like 30, 40 years old, But other than that, in terms of the electronics, it was very well done. It was very neatly made, neatly organized, and it was just of quality. I could tell that they took very good care, whoever built this guitar, in terms of the quality. When I took off the neck, it had the date stamped, but it was like on a font that I've never seen on a Fender, for me personally, from the Fenders that I've owned. It looked kind of fancy for a stamp, for a date stamp or an imprint. I thought it was pretty unique. So for me, the biggest selling point of this guitar, I'd say is, obviously it's the matching headstock. I actually hated matching headstocks. I thought they looked kind of tacky. But after owning this one and playing it for a decent amount of months, like, I've gained a little bit of a soft spot for matching headstocks. I don't know why. But this one I think is really cool. Black, it's pretty classy with the gold. I think it's a good combination. Some people say it's a little bit too fancy, and I kind of agree. But this kind of gives me like a Gibson Les Paul Custom type feel, a black Gibson Les Paul Custom, because the custom Gibson also has, the black and the gold hardware. So this is kind of the vibe I got. But other than the color, biggest selling point was just the bridge. Dude, this bridge, you guys can't tell, but this is by far the most solid bridge I've ever felt on any guitar. This literally, like, if you took this bridge off, this could be used as a weapon. Like, seriously, like, that's how strong this bridge is. And because of, the interesting, shape and the structure of the bridge, I don't know if it's the bridge, but when I play it, I feel like the sustain is much better, longer, louder. It's just a cool feature to a cool Tele. Another interesting thing about this guitar is the three-way selector switch. The tip is the same tip as this tip on a Stratocaster. Usually the Tele has like the top hat looking selector switch, but this is straight up a switch from a Strat. When I flick the switch, I think this is by far the firmest switch flipping or switching that I've ever felt. I don't know if you can hear this, but just look at this. Just hear this. Like, that's loud, dude. You actually got to put a decent amount of pressure to flip it once. And I think that's really cool. That's a sign of a very well-made switch. It's just boom, boom, boom. Very nice. I played this guitar a couple hours, not as much as this because I haven't owned it as long as this one, but the tone is actually pretty good. Obviously for a guitar of this price range and, you know, collector's edition, it should sound good, but the tone was very, very good, except the bridge. I play a lot of clean channel with a little bit of reverb. The neck pickup in the middle on a clean channel is excellent. I say it's a 9 out of 10. But on a clean channel, the bridge pickup, clearly the weakest part. It just sounds way too thin. It's just like bright and thin on a clean channel. It doesn't sound good. I don't know if it's about good, but it's just like a little bit piercing to my ears. Even if I put the tone level to 0, it's not the tone that I like. However, on a distortion channel, like a gain, you know, if you're playing rock, like punk, the bridge is the best channel. But the middle and the neck is the worst channels. I thought that was weird. I thought that was very interesting. So on a clean channel, the neck and the middle is excellent, but the bridge is not good. But on a gain distortion type channel, the bridge is excellent, but the middle and the neck is not that good in my opinion. I don't know if they made it like that or if that's just the vibe I'm getting, but I thought that on a clean channel, the neck was probably one of the best I've played on a Tele. It just sounded so good. I mean, there's no other way to describe it, you know? Super cool guitar. Another super cool guitar. 1981 Fender Telecasters collector's edition with a custom, not a custom, but a very unique gold bridge, gold hardware, black matching headstock. Very cool Tele.